Before we go into my week one of my marathon training, I want to spend some time and go over 3 things that I learned as a new runner who started in August 2024 until now. I think a lot of you runners may agree with me because it's something that I've seen very commonly happen amongst new and especially beginner runners. But if there is something else you guys have noticed I may have missed, please be sure to put a comment down below and let me know what that might be. So the first thing I noticed in this journey is hunger. And I just didn't realize just how hungry I would be, especially on the days when I run. I don't know if it's a mental thing or a physiological thing, but after I get done with the long run, I am super hungry. I'm just craving carbs nonstop. And it's specifically carbs, not anything else. I think, I don't know if it's just my body saying, hey, you deplete all your carb storage, so you're just gonna be extra hungry and you're gonna be craving it. But after a long run or an interval training run, I am just non-stop craving carbs. So while I didn't start this journey as a way of having some weight loss, I did expect that, if you're somebody who runs an hour or two a day or something like that, I would expect a lot of weight loss to happen, and that just hasn't been the case for me. I guess the reason for that is because after the run, I'm just craving so much things, so I'm actually ingesting a lot of food to fuel myself for the next run. I have noticed that on the days when I try to decrease the number of calories I intake, or especially carbs I intake, my runs the next day just don't go too well. I end up being super sore, or I just get super tired during the run. So I have to continuously fuel my body to prepare for the next run. And I think that's kind of negating the fact that I'm hoping I would have any kind of weight loss to happen. So a good mantra, somebody actually commented in one of my videos before, is this right here, where they said, you don't run to get in shape, you get in shape to run. And this is probably the best way I can explain how my weight loss and my journey has been, is that I am continuously fueling myself for the next run. So for a lot of you guys out there, especially the newer runners, don't expect a weight loss to happen right away. Don't expect to lose 20 pounds within a month. You may, depending on how heavy you are, but for someone like me who started off at 245 pounds and I'm actually currently at around 230 pounds, I did lose 15 pounds, but that's within 4 or 5 months of this journey. So that weight loss isn't necessarily what I have seen in the past. When I have done a strict diet and a weight loss routine, I've lost about 10 to 15 pounds a month. I don't see the same necessary outcome when I started this running journey. And so you have to make sure you are properly taking in the right number of calories as well as fueling yourself for the next run. Don't be so hard struck on trying to lose weight or seeing a drop off in scale. And so I have noticed that I've gone a lot faster and I've been able to run a lot longer because of this fueling, because I'm not so concentrated on weight loss. I've just noticed that I've been able to become a better runner over the last 5 months versus if I had just purely worked on my weight loss. I don't think I may have seen the improvements that I've seen now. And so I don't want to alarm you new beginner runners that you're going to just stay the shape that you are for the rest of the time. That's not the case at all. I've definitely seen a significant change in the way I look. I wouldn't necessarily say I've leaned out a lot, but I have seen my belly fat go down significantly. I feel a lot stronger in my legs. That's one thing I've definitely noticed, is that before I started running, if I had to just get up from a position, I was always, I had to hold my knees to get up or my back would ache. But now I can just get up super quickly without having any kind of pain. And that's because I've been able to grow more muscle in my legs because of all the running I'm doing. So the numbers on the scale may not go down, but you will definitely look and feel physically a lot more stronger and better. And that's the main thing that I would say is the result of running, and why it's also important to continue to fuel your body for the next runs. Try to eat as much healthy food as you can, but don't try to necessarily decrease the number of foods so you can get a weight loss. This is not what running is about, especially when you're trying to prepare for a marathon. You're going to put your body through 4, 5, 6 hours of rigorous training as a new runner, and you want to make sure it's properly fueled, because the last thing you want when you're running in the long run is cramping, it's dehydration, and it's a lot of other things that you don't want to deal with. So fuel yourself properly. Of course, keep it under control. Don't just go out and eat pizzas the whole time. But obviously fuel your body, because your body will tell you, I am hungry, I need the energy back in myself, and you will take care of that. Second thing is laundry. I mean, oh my God, I haven't done this much laundry since my daughter was a toddler. So much laundry I have to do for myself specifically. I normally average anywhere between 2 to 3 loads of laundry a week, whereas before I would average only about 1 per week, because I was just kind of in my home clothes and then my work clothes. But now it's like I have so much more laundry I have to take care of myself, because of all the extra running I have to do, and that's just been leading to so much laundry. It's kind of crazy just how much laundry you end up having to do. So think about this. You have multiple pairs of socks, anti-chafing underwear, pair of shorts, undershirts, hoodies, baseball hat because you're trying to cover your sweaty bald head. Maybe that's just a me thing, and multiply that by 5. And so when I had first started running, the first month I had to keep reminding myself to do laundry over and over again because I didn't have necessarily a lot of clothes to wear. I would wear the same pair of shorts, so I had to just make sure I'm, continuously washing them so it's not odors and all that kind of stuff, and it's gross. Don't think about it. So now I definitely add a lot more pairs of clothing to my piles. I have new shorts, all that kind of stuff, but that just means I have to keep on doing the laundry on a day-to-day basis just to make sure they're clean and ready for the next run. And the last thing is expenses. I just never realized just how expensive running is as a sport. And this might just be a me thing, but I've just become very much a running gear enthusiast. And I think that happens to me whenever I get excited about a new hobby. I always thought camera gear and all that kind of stuff was super expensive, and that's an expensive hobby to get into. So in the last 6 months, I must have spent at least $2,000 on running gear itself, and most of that is probably just shoes. So don't get me wrong, most of you will not have this issue. This could just be a me thing. Most of you are much better to control your finances and impulses, and you'll pretty much just buy one pair of shoes, a few pairs of gear, like, running stuff like that, and then that's it. You won't necessarily buy new shoes every time a new one comes out or something for specific runs. You'll just kind of stick to it. And those of you guys that can do it, I applaud you, and that is what you should aim for. I unfortunately just don't have that kind of self-control. I have gotten so interested in shoes and some of the running stuff that I just cannot help myself at times, and I end up buying it. So I just want to give that caveat. I may just be the only one that has this issue. This is not for everybody, but for me, I cannot control myself when it comes to buying new stuff. Now might be a good time to mention as well that I may actually start doing some shoe reviews on this channel, not because I'm trying to fund myself for the shoes that I end up buying. I do want to test out some shoes as a slower beginner heavy runner, and to see which shoes actually work and which shoes are worth your time. As I mentioned in my other video, not all the shoes are best for every single kind of runner. Slow and heavier runners like myself, and especially beginner runners who need more stability, may not benefit from some of the newer shoes that are coming out. I want to kind of test out some of the shoes from my perspective and give you an honest feedback. Again, I am not sponsored by any of these companies. As you can see, my subscriber count is not that high, so I don't have any clout in this game. Not to forget, of course, I'm going to continue my weekly series of my training for the marathon. I am about 4 months out from my half marathon in May, and I am about 6 months out from my marathon in July. So I'm getting very excited. I have my 25-week marathon plan that I'm continuing, and I'm actually going to be starting my recap of week 1 starting now. Week 1 of my 25-week marathon plan on my Runna app. I had 4 weeks on my training plan, but I ended up doing 5. So don't mind me, I'm going to be looking at my phone while I address this. On Monday, I had a 3.5 mile easy run according to my plan, and this was great. I think the reason why I did swap my interval run for the easy run that day was because I was still kind of sore from the 10K I had done the weekend prior. So I want to give my legs some rest, and so that's why I opted for a 3.5 mile easy run. My average pace was about 13:34, again, really honing into the zone 2 there. And I did the whole run in about 48 minutes. So perfectly good run for me. Zone 2 is what I was really focused on there. Felt good to be able to recover because that 10K did kind of kick my butt. So I want to make sure that I am fully recovered for my new training block. And then I had the 1K repeats, and let me tell you guys, I absolutely love interval training now. I don't know what it is, and I think I mentioned in my other video, I just love the need for speed, and I just see myself really pushing myself as much as I can week over week. If the training plan says this pace, I'm gonna try to do a little bit faster just to see if my body can handle it. Of course, I do start off a little bit slower in some of these runs, and I pick up the pace as I go. But it's just so much fun to challenge myself, and I get a true joy out of it. So this was 12 reps of 1 kilometer at 11 minutes 30 seconds per mile, and then a 90-second walking rest, and do 3 reps of that. As I mentioned, felt really good. My first pace was at 11:29, my first rep. Then I did 11:13, and then I did a 10:32 for my last rep. Again, really pushing myself as much as I can because it's so much fun to get to that level. And on Wednesday, I had another zone 2 run on the treadmill at home. Nothing crazy. It was a 2.16 mile run on the treadmill, just something to warm myself up. I think I did this after lifting just to kind of get that cardio in afterwards, but nothing crazy here. And then I had a progression run the day after, and that was going to be a quarter mile at a conversational pace, then go to 0.5 miles at 12:30 per mile, increase to 1 mile at 11:55, then go 1 mile at 11:45. And then end with another quarter mile relaxed pace run. As usual, I felt like I felt really great. These runs, the progressive runs, are definitely a little bit more challenging for me because in the other runs, you push yourself really fast and you walk, and you push yourself really fast and you walk. This one is more just like you're able to just continuously have to push yourself, pace yourself, and you can't just necessarily sprint all out in the beginning, expect to recover for the next run. So I was very careful about not necessarily shooting the gap right off the bat and make sure I prepare myself and then save my energy for the last mile. That way I can really push it if I need to before my cooldown happens. As you guys can see, I pretty much stayed within the intervals for the first 2 parts of it. So I was at a 12:04 for the first half mile, then around 11:40 for the next mile, and then I really pushed it at 11:26 for the last mile, which is pretty much a little bit faster than what the training plan had wanted me to do. And so that's why it just felt great. I felt great afterwards, no issue there at all. And then last but not least, I had a long run that week. This was a little bit more challenging for me just because I think at this point, because I had pushed the pace so much in my 2 interval runs this week and the 10K from the weekend before, my legs were pretty sore. So I just kind of try to stay within my zone as much as I can. I did this run on a treadmill. So we had the wildfires going on at the time, so I didn't want to be outside inhaling all the smoke. And so that's why I just did this one indoors. This was a progressive run that was intertwined within the long run. I had to do a 2.5 mile at a conversational pace, and half a mile at a certain rate, another half at a fast rate, and then another half at an even faster rate. And again, I just felt really good. This one, I didn't necessarily push the pace too much. I just stayed within the treadmill suggestion that they had recommended and knocked it out and felt really good afterwards. So there you have it. That's the end of my week 1 of my 25-week training plan. It has been an absolute blast. I am currently going to be posting my week 2 results pretty soon for you guys, but please definitely be sure to check out my other videos on the channel, and then also let me know if there's any specific shoes you think I should be trying out. I've gotten so many cool suggestions from you guys, and I definitely will be picking up a lot of them and testing them out for myself. I will have a shoe review for the Nike Zoom Fly 6. I know that shoe is honestly geared towards myself, but I've been having a lot of fun with this, so I did want to take some time to review it. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned for that video as well. And lastly, thank you to all the new subscribers out there. I appreciate you guys following along my journey and giving me some tips and some advice as I do go into my marathon. I know it's a long process. I am truly enjoying it. I love this community. I love the interactions I'm having with others on this channel. So I just want to thank you guys again, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. They do not understand it, 'cause I've been sharpening my